Welcome to I Still Call It a Lariat, a pro wrestling podcast. My name is stevezapf. With me, as always, my tag team partner, Mr. Showtime Michael Wright. How you doing up there in Jersey, Michael?
Oh, you know me, Steven. I'm living the dream.
Awesome. A lot of stuff happening. For once, we are not previewing or reviewing a pay-per-view this week. Woo!
Oh, we kind of are.
We kind of are. We're like half-ass reviewing one or previewing one. As always, our nonprofit organization, Tap Cancer Out, helps with Alex's Lemonade Stand, American Brain Tumor Association, Isabella Santos Foundation, Little Pink Houses of Hope, Camp Sunshine, Christopher's Haven, the Sidney Kimmel Comprehensive Cancer Center at Johns Hopkins, CureCervicalCancer.org, First Descents, and Tom Coughlin's J Fund. Again, folks, the information and links will be in our descriptions for the show, whether you're watching us on YouTube, listening to us on one of the varying streaming networks, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Amazon, etc., etc., etc. All of our information will be on that and links to go along with that. Also, we have a ton of bonus content coming out soon. We have an interview with former ECW referee and pro wrestling trainer Jim Molyneux. That one's going to be interesting. I have a couple other interviews that are on deck. I'm just waiting to get full confirmation. And before SummerSlam, we are going to be reviewing SummerSlam 92. This was the first time WWE really went outside of North America with a pay-per-view. And it was in Wembley Stadium, which kind of covers the fact that SummerSlam is going to be huge this year, and AEW is doing Wembley again this year, which we're looking forward to both those things. But outside of that, let's get down to wrestling news. Around the world, our brother, our friend, a family member of the show, so to speak, Kakoa, he debuts his new look and this new image he's got, which me and Michael have seen
awesome.
It looks so cool. And the vignette that he set up for it was amazing. Just, man, if this doesn't get some looks, there is something wrong with the world. Like this.
Yeah,
like,
this looks good.
Hey, TK. Like, I know you're listening. Tony, take a look at Kakoa.
He debuted on 7/13 on MCW. That's why
I believe it was at their Shamrock Cup.
Yep, that's why last week I said that's what I was going to watch. He looked great. I think it was a great outing. This new look, this Hawaiian Warrior look is dope. It's really cool.
This ascended Hawaiian Warrior, like it's like an ascension of what he was doing. So it's so cool. He is an ascended Saiyan.
So I implore you all to go check him out. Check him out on social channels as well. Give him a like and subscribe, share, whatever it is you do on those things. And just to kind of get his name out a little bit further, we love him. We think he's great. I think it's worth it. But if you guys, we're a big fan of his style in general, and this new look is cool. You should definitely check it out.
Absolutely. And guys, like Michael said, follow him, like him, subscribe him. But also, if you like what you're listening to with us, follow us, like us, subscribe to us. Hitting that like button, hitting that follow and that subscribe button, biggest ways to help us out on the show here. Get that out of the way right away. Big news in the wrestling world. Everybody reported it last week. Stephanie Vaquer didn't just sign with WWE. She made her debut in Mexico this past week. Wrestled two matches against Isla Dawn, and believe won both of them. Again, it was in Mexico, which is she's obviously well known there for her work with CMLL. Again, I think this is huge. I think she's going to do great things with the WWE. I think getting out of the kind of muddied waters that AEW might have offered her, I think they could give her a little bit more of a firm direction in WWE, and I think this is a better option for her.
Yeah, I think it's Bush League. She didn't drop these belts that she was holding on to, in all honesty. But otherwise, I agree with your sentiment completely. You know, just do I think you have a little bit of a obligation to do the business. particularly when people are letting you out of your contract a little bit early and whatnot. But that's just me, and the respect I have for like some of the people we've worked with in the past. Not that I'm in the same shoes as her, and maybe she didn't have a choice. Maybe WWE kind of said it's now or never. I doubt it, but whatever. I don't know the whole story, but
And we
I
also don't
do.
know the whole story. They might be letting her finish up a few dates to
Everything I've heard is
drop
the
those
opposite
belts.
to that. It contradicts that, but I could be mistaken. I'm not as close to the story. I have not talked to Stephanie, so surprise. I agree with everything that you said. They put her over twice in a row on a champion. Like that's nothing to bat an eye at. Like I get it, singles match, tag team champion. Say what you will, but I think it shows a lot of hope and respect coming from WWE that she's going to be one of the next big things. And it looks like she's going to NXT. Is did I see that correctly? I was assuming she might even go right to the main roster, but it looks like she's going to make
I
a
think
good
she's
stop.
gonna hit NXT for a little bit. I think if nothing else, with her being of what is it, Colombian descent, and her wrestling the majority of her matches in either Japan or Mexico, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to make sure about her her promo skills, not her wrestling skills. So
That's fair.
I could see them getting in there and getting her in there with a language coach, if nothing else. I know
Mm-hmm.
they do that a lot of times. It just to make sure that her promo skills, or whether or not they need to set her up with a manager of some sort. So I could see that. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. AJ Styles wins his match in Japan. They went almost 30 minutes. That was huge. Again, this is more of Triple H letting them go wherever they need to go to build the brand. Basically, like they're making wrestling bigger so that WWE is even bigger. As Showtime said a couple weeks ago, rising tide lifts all ships. I think this is
Mm-hmm.
one of those situations. I think they're just going to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and they're doing it well. And no one is, yeah. I mean, LL Cool J reference.
Boo.
All around though, I don't think that for one thing, they're not sending crap people to crap places. It's not like AJ Styles wrestled in a high school gymnasium this past weekend. He wrestled for a major promotion in Japan.
Yeah, they still have A+ product. You don't put that in a VFW.
Exactly.
Before you leave the wrestling world of abroad, Steven, I want to make an announcement right here and right now. I would love to challenge John Cena for a match before he retires. It seems that everybody else in the world is doing it, and I figured if he's just giving out matches, I might as well do it myself.
This is kind of like the nerd asking Taylor Swift to prom, right? Like this is that.
Yeah, didn't she say yes? It's perfect.
I don't know.
Um,
Or
I
like
told
that.
you.
Wait, didn't we have a friend who asked Princess Leia to prom? I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure that was a thing.
I'm not sure about that one, but at the same time, why not? Like I told you, by next year's WrestleMania, I was going to be back in ring shape, which I'm working on right now. I've dropped a couple lubs over the last
Some
couple
LBs, if you
weeks.
will.
Yeah, and I think I'll be ready for when John Cena is ready to face me. So John, give me a call. I won't see you coming, obviously, but ready to throw down.
But he can hear you over the phone.
Yeah, I would be able
Do
to
you
hear
think
him.
his name still comes up on caller ID? Like,
No,
can you see his name at least?
nope, just blank. It doesn't say unknown or anything like that. Just blank.
What about if
But
he really messed with it and like now it'll just be Jean Shana?
John Cena. No, so and like out there right now, the challenges that are coming are kind of interesting. Obviously, CM Punk has thrown his name in the ring. Um, Matt Cardona had actually thrown out a challenge kind of similar to what he did with Edge, where he doesn't even need to be signed to WWE. I'm sure he would like that, but instead of it being his former Gil, that was Zack Ryder, right?
Zack Ryder.
Yeah. Instead of it being Zack Ryder, but be Matt Cardona, and maybe play it up in a way where he blames Cena for not taking off in WWE and kind of ruining his career in quotation marks. which could be actually a really a cool 5-minute feud for them. And so since everybody else is doing it, I might as well. So, John, let's do it.
On a serious note, there's been a lot of questions about.
I'm dead serious.
I know you're serious.
Just
on
saying.
a more serious note, on an even more dead serious note.
Cool. All right. Respect.
A lot of people are questioning. So I'm going to ask you, Showtime. You're holding the pencil.
He shouldn't get the title.
No, not that.
Okay, sorry.
Who do you think Cena's last match should be?
Who should Cena's
because this is a hard one.
Be?
This is really, really hard. Like, he's had really good feuds with a lot of people. Like, he had good feuds with Angle. He had good feuds with Jericho, with Edge, with Orton.
Oh, Jericho also challenged him, by the way.
Did he? That makes sense. Of course he did. Of course Jericho did. He wants him in the Vortex.
What is the last pay-per-view in December?
I don't remember. There's Survivor Series is November. And I think they do a minor one in December. It's nothing crazy, and then they do Royal Rumble in January.
So he won't make it to the next Royal Rumble.
No.
So apparently, next year, 2025 is his last year.
That's it.
So it's that minor one. So I bet you see at Survivor Series, he's in a big old mess of a match. Him, 3 other guys on a team versus 3 other guys on the other side. I could see that ultimately being his last showing, but I don't want it to be. Because if it's somebody at an echelon of like a Rock or something like that,
it's got to be on a big show.
On a big show, exactly. Like that might be next year's SummerSlam.
I realize it's not a pay-per-view, but if he goes the full year, sake argument, no injuries, no movies that have to pull him away.
Well, he's moved all that stuff. The injury thing's a real thing, but there should be no movies. There should be no other things. He moved his whole schedule around apparently for this year.
Now, my thing is, I realize it's not a pay-per-view, but they always do the day one Raw or whatever they call it now, where basically the first week of the year they do this huge Raw where they bring in a bunch of people. I could see him closing out on that, or at least that being his full-on goodbye. I agree with you. I don't like the idea of him having a go away match on a secondary pay-per-view. I think Survivor Series should be his last.
It's probably that, and I think it's going to be a cluster. It's hard to say that he's main eventing that because there is really no filler pay-per-view in December. And what I'm looking at right now, they're pivoting away from that day one concept what you're saying right now. So this is just reading headlines, so I could be mistaken there. Don't hold me to that. So then you're talking he'll have another match or two. He'll probably wrestle a match. Sorry, not to go quiet on this. I need to go to a calendar now because if he's saying that he's wrestling through the end of the year, I wonder if there is there a New Year's a New Year's kind of show here.
I mean, maybe
December. So the 29th is his last show. December 29th. And that's a Raw.
December 30th.
And 29th. 2025?
No, December 30th is the Monday.
No, that's 2024.
Oh, that is 2024. You're right.
Get it together, Steven.
God, I'm terrible.
So
I'm Bush League today.
So his last match is going to be, barring injury, December 25th, 2025. And so I don't know if I can give you a person, but I'll tell you what I think it's going to be. I think this whole year is going to be him trying to win number 17. Be the most winningest champion of all times, technically. Whatever your count is. And so I think that match is
Cody,
John Cena versus
or whoever the world champion is.
one last crack at it, and I wouldn't even be surprised if the champion called him out. Like John Cena can't go out there and challenge the champion without earning it, but the champion can go out there and be like, I might be champion now, but you are the biggest and best champion of all times. Come down here for one more toss.
20 or 30 years. Like, yeah.
They won't play that. I'm not saying that's what I think. I'm saying that's what the exact words the champion will say.
Yeah.
Face, heel, whatever. They'll throw all that stuff out in the garbage. And you're like, let's go for one more toss. And then
try to do a passing of the torch type match.
And he'll hopefully leave his boots leave his pumps in the ring.
Hopefully they're pumps. I hope he's not wearing the New Balances.
And if it's not that, there's a much, much more obvious foe for him to face. It's R-Truth.
Obviously.
It always comes back to R-Truth. Always.
It always comes back to R-Truth. Oh, man. Well, someplace that R-Truth...
How could you not go up against the guy that idolized you when he was a kid of 37?
I don't know. I mean, back when he was a kid, 30 years before Cena was born.
So that's what I really think is, because based on what he said, that would be his last show. It's either that or on the 26th, either way. But I would like to see him face Rollins. I'd like to see him face McIntyre. I want to see Punk. I guess I'm just not a fan of his today.
I'm not wearing the hat. Are you happy?
Yes, I am happy actually. We have Cody, obviously. I would love to see him go up against Roman. That would be a really that'd be a really good one. I honestly would like to see The Rock again, just not at WrestleMania.
I just hope that they book him again. I don't think he needs the world title one more time, but I think
I agree. But I think that's a good storyline. You know what I mean? Like that he's going for, because then you build him up for Royal Rumble to start, because he's John Cena. He can't go and win, go and challenge for the world title without earning it. Like I could see him. So then he's entering things like the Royal Rumble, and he just comes short. He's in Money in the Bank, which would be really cool. I don't know how he's going to handle that. Chamber. An elimination chamber, exactly.
I don't think he goes to Money in the Bank. I think he can. It's funny because I'm saying this, and I realize what I'm saying, but I think he can avoid injury in Elimination Chamber. But I think Money in the Bank, if he there's too many things. There's too many ways you can break an ankle or something like that.
You could protect Cena, and no one's really gonna mind. Like he won't take the big spot. Actually, did Tiffany Stratton take a single bump in that whole?
I don't know. I think she just doled out punishment.
That train wreck of a match where everyone died.
I'm just saying. I would give Cena a pass on Jamokin.
Oh, 100%. He'd pop up every so often. Hidden attitude adjustment.
Yeah, give an attitude adjustment. get powdered out of the ring. Jamoke for a little while.
Essentially, I want him to wrestle everybody as I'm going there. Do you know who I'd really like to see him wrestle? Joe Hendry.
Yes. I believe.
I think they'd work a pretty good match together.
That should be his last match.
It definitely should
pass the torch to Joe Hendry.
Why not? They have a similar look.
Oh man, they do have, especially when he first got in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man! All right.
So
well,
all of that to say, his last match obviously should be against me.
Obviously.
So that's what we're building for.
Oh man, poor John Cena.
Poor John Cena.
Oh, John Cena. Well, we think that he should wrestle Joe Hendry. Speaking of Joe Hendry has a title shot this week.
Sure does.
Slammiversary is this weekend, folks. I'm pretty excited about this. I watched this past week's TNA. I am not as adamant about getting into the TNA watching as Showtime is, but this week's TNA was really good. It's been really good. They were in Philly again.
I feel like they always have the match of the week, like the one match that's better than every other match. And then
they had some really good matches. They had
hit or miss.
They had your boy Jonathan Gresham out there. And they said, and like they joked about it. They were like, Jonathan Gresham before he went crazy.
After he went crazy?
Slammiversary, good card setup right now.
Mhm.
So just a quick rundown. We've got the elimination match for the world title. We have Jordan Grace versus Ash by Elegance for the Knockouts Championship. We have ABC facing the winners of the System versus the Hardy Boys this week for the TNA tag titles. It is what it is. We have Mustafa Ali versus Mike Bailey for the X Division title. We have AJ Francis, hi Francis, versus PCO for the digital media and the International Heavyweight Championship, of which AJ Francis is the longest reigning champion in history.
Only one to hold the belt.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to do that when you went and bought it from a pawn shop. And
such a funny storyline.
And Militia, which is Masha Slamovich and Alicia Edwards versus Spitfire. I don't know much about Spitfire, but I think this will probably be a really good match. They've been putting on good knockouts tag team matches. I think Jordan Grace versus Ash by Elegance is going to be a good match.
Agreed.
Honestly, this is a good card. The only match it's just not my cup of tea is going to be AJ Francis versus PCO. It's going to be slow and it's not going to be
a throwaway match.
Yeah, it's not the type of matches that I want to watch if I'm watching a true wrestling show, which this is set out to be a true wrestling show. Even right down to this, there's only one gimmick match really in the whole thing. Like, I'm sure AJ Francis and PCO is going to be like a no DQ match of some sort.
It'd be fine.
But the elimination match is the only real gimmick match.
So we said that we're not reviewing any pay-per-views this week. Well, we lied.
We're half-ass reviewing this one.
Yeah,
we're not using our whole ass.
Yeah, we're gonna do like a quick pick here, but we're not gonna count it against our titles. I won't mock Steven mercilessly for this one unless I just dominate him. Like that'd be. I mean, if someone gets dominated, you gotta take the lumps. But okay, so Militia versus Spitfire. What do you got, Steven?
I think Militia.
I'm with you. I don't see why they're playing a good game right now. I think they're going to spend some time with these titles. There's no reason to break them up yet. You have AJ Francis versus PCO.
I think AJ Francis. They've been building up this PCO Steph Delander thing for a while, and they've got Steph Delander going back to New Zealand. I believe they said she's from. Sorry, I'm a little. The accent throws me off whether it's New Zealand or Australia, and I forget what she said. But they also said that I could see them having her return and screw over PCO.
No, but they're so sweet together, and they're so weird monster like
weird stuff. Monster.
I'm with you, AJ Francis. They just kind of shifted AJ Francis's gimmick around, not gimmick, but like his direction, because he was so embroiled with Joe Hendry, and then Joe Hendry blew up. And they're like, oh, well, sorry, AJ.
Sorry, buddy.
Here's the digital media title.
There's levels to this, right? Like, there's levels.
Yeah. You have Mustafa Ali versus Mike Bailey.
I think this is going to be Mike Bailey giving Mustafa Ali his comeuppance.
I think Mustafa Ali is too hot. He's too good as champion. It works with his gimmick too much. I think that he retains there. So there's one difference.
All right. I mean, I could see it going either way, but I do think it's finally time for Ali to get his comeuppance type of thing.
I get you, but I don't think it's gonna happen here. Who do you think wins against? Who do you think wins in the title match to get the number one contenders? Usually, you have a number one contender match to get to the champions, but you have the winners of the System versus the Hardys. So the System or the Hardys? Who do you think wins that match?
I think it should be the System.
I agree.
I think it's going to be the Hardys.
I think you're wrong.
You think it's going to be the System? To keep the System strong going into the pay-per-view?
No. I think it's a disqualification, and we get a three-way tag match at Slammiversary. There's no reason why You wouldn't want that. I think ABC would play off the Hardys really well in a match.
I
And
think
the
so.
system are so differently. This match is so much better if it's a 3-way tag match than if it's the Hardys or the system versus ABC. Because like, why not have the Hardys on this and like, why would you take the system off? They've been so hot. I don't see why you would do that. I don't see why they have a title match the week before, like days before the except for if it's just to build
To set
the
this
match
up. Which
and
that
that's the only
also
thing that
makes
makes sense
sense.
to me.
Okay, so then regardless, who do you think walks out with the TNA tag team titles?
The system.
You think it's gonna be the system?
I do.
This way they win one and possibly lose the other.
Well, they
win two.
Yeah, they might lose by DQ or they'll just turn into a shenanigans. Yeah, and then they win two. And then we've said numerous times that we think that Moose is not walking out.
We don't think Moose is
I haven't
walking
changed
out.
my mind at that point.
Jordynne Grace and Ash by Elegance.
Yeah,
I'm excited for this match. I think this is gonna be a
Me too.
really good match.
I think Ash really elevated recently. Like she's really increased her game, and I think Ash wins this match.
I think Ash might win this match. So I will say this: as I said, I watched TNA this past week, and I know Showtime and I. The only thing that we bash about TNA is their production quality, and this is one of those. And this is one of those situations where
you TNA Albany fans still met you guys. Ohio.
This is one of those times where I'm gonna just full on put them on blast for their production. It was supposed to be Ash by Elegance sitting by a beach sipping mimosas while she's watching the match via satellite, and it was just like so clearly like her with her arm out FaceTiming. And I was like, come on, guys. This is not the way to go. Like I would have rather they just didn't even show her. If they were like, hey, like we're like she's gonna do the open challenge and I'm gonna send her the feed for it. She can't be here because she doesn't care that much about you. I almost think that would have been a little bit better, but like seeing her so clearly just like selfieing herself.
Yeah, you could have seen her. They could have sent down her valet to accept the challenge and stuff like that.
So they sent out the valet to say like she's watching this to see who's going to be the knockout champion. But then they're like she's watching it via satellite from a private beach while she's sipping on like mimosas and champagne, and like they actually showed her, and I'm like, you shouldn't have showed her.
Boo.
So
though I think Jordynne Grace giving up the title here allows her to do more NXT work, and I think that's kind of why they do it.
And I also think that her losing the title doesn't hurt Jordynne Grace.
Agreed.
And I think it elevates Ash by Elegance.
Because nothing can hurt Jordynne Grace. She is swole, man. She's so big.
Nothing's getting through that.
Nothing can kill the grimace. So, and then we have the elimination match. We have Moose, Joe Hendry, we have Steve Macklin, we have Josh Alexander, we have Frankie Kazarian, and Nick Namath. So I pretty much narrowed it down to 2, I think.
So they also said this past week, again, there might be, I'm going to have to watch TNA again this week because they've got me intrigued now.
Uh-huh.
They said that they set up a thing where Kaz jumped Namath. He was the mystery guy that jumped Namath a couple weeks ago and injured him. And like they're saying he might not be cleared for this elimination match. Namath might not be. So now I'm really excited to see what they're doing. If Namath's going to be in there, I could see them trying to do a Brett and Owen thing where Namath isn't cleared and maybe he sends Ryan in there.
Yeah, that would have been my guess.
And Ryan's always been a little more heelish, like kind of like punch in the face, like I want to punch you in the face heel. I could see them finding out that like Ryan kind of pushed Kaz to do it or paid him off, even though he's the king of TNA. And because all Kaz kept saying was, I did what I had to do. Which, are you saying that Nemeth is the biggest threat to you not winning the title? Because that's kind of what you're either saying that, or you're saying, well, I got paid off to do it. And this sets up Nemeth.
So I like that. I think that would be a good one. How about I throw another curveball in here? That it's someone like Trick Williams.
I can see that. I'm going to throw out another curveball on this one. What if it's AJ Styles?
Yeah. If it's AJ Styles, he wins.
And
there's no way AJ Styles doesn't win this match if it's him. I don't think it's going to be him. But because I can see Trick Williams losing this because of the type of match it is, it doesn't hurt him that much.
It doesn't.
Even though he did just lose the title and everything like that from NXT, they're building him up in a big way to move up to the main roster. And like this kind of match would help that, like going toe to toe with Moose would kind of allow,
especially
him,
since they're actually about the same size and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like that
and
helps.
Like this match, even losing it, can elevate him to the main roster because now he's playing with the big boys. But if AJ Styles is in there, he wins this match. All right, there's
and
no way.
That's if Nemeth isn't in it. Again, we have to get
just playing the game. That's what it is.
We're just spitfiring
the game.
So Showtime.
So who do you got to win? Oh, you want me to go first?
I was just gonna ask you. I was literally just gonna ask you because I know you've narrowed it down to pretty much 2.
So how about we both do that first because I like the way this is going.
All right.
I have it down to Frankie and Joe Hendry because I think we both kind of said before that we don't think it's Moose.
I don't think it's Moose. I think if Moose comes out, I'll say this: if Moose comes out, the only way Moose is winning this is if the tag team champions lose the titles. Like if ABC,
I don't think that'll matter.
If ABC walks out with the tag team titles, I could see Moose keeping the world title. But I don't think I still don't think it's going to happen.
I agree with that, but I don't think they're losing the tag titles. So I don't think it's Moose. And I don't know. I feel like Nick is kind of cursed these days.
I don't think it's Nick.
Always has been. So I think if they're going to put this belt on Joe Hendry, I don't think Joe Hendry's going to re-sign at the end of the year. Or what his contract has about a year left.
Yeah.
So if they're going to make him champion, it's gonna be now. It's got to be now. Give him a nice 3 to 6 month reign. Let him soak up all of this goodwill he got with the fans. He's like a super babyface here, but kind of a heel in NXT. Bringing the TNA World Title to NXT, where Joe Hendry's been spending a decent amount of time, could be really good to elevate the brand. So I really like that. I really like Kaz because he's never been champion and he's the king of TNA. And it's really hard to be the king of TNA if you've never been the champion. So, with all that said, I think it might be Frankie.
I am leaning towards that myself. Here's where I'm going with it. I think Joe Hendry looks better chasing Frankie for the title.
You're not wrong.
At least for right now. And even if he's on like a show-to-show agreement after the contract, I could see them having Frankie somehow screw Joe Hendry over in this one. And he chases Frankie to like Bound for Glory or something like that. Which I think is their next big pay-per-view. Like not their, I don't think it's their next pay-per-view, but I think Bound for Glory is usually closer towards the end of the year. I think. Because
Hendry signed a 2-year contract back in 2022.
So he's finishing now.
So it's finishing.
Although he might be on the same.
NXT's all over him.
Yeah, and he could be, but he could still be under the same type of deal as the Hardys.
He could, and particularly if he's just going over to NXT, like they have that 2-way ability right now. But I doubt they let him have the title and not be a signed person when he's so clearly going to go to NXT next. Whereas in other people, like, I bought in Nick Nemeth doing that because he wasn't going anywhere bigger in the meantime. He was doing the indie scene, and TNA was his big show. So I agree with you. I'm going. Are you going Frankie too? Is that what it is? Are we just being homers because we love Frankie?
I think I'm going to Frankie. Yeah.
Okay, so we had one difference, and that match didn't even matter. So we won't ridicule each other afterwards because it doesn't really count. But at the end of the day, I really could see Hendry or Kaz winning this. I guess I could see Moose retaining, but I really don't. I don't think that's the right thing.
I don't think that's the right move right now anymore. I think it's time to get that title off Moose. I think that's where we're at. I mean, who knows? Maybe they know something about where their storyline's going that we don't, or something that they know about Hendry's contract going in that we don't also. Maybe they know that he's resigning. They just can't offer him the new contract yet. Who knows how the contract is structured? But so that's Slammiversary in a nutshell. We actually spent a little bit more time on that than I thought we were.
No.
But, I mean, it's what we do. But it does look like it's shaping up to be a good card. Also, moving on from TNA though, AEW news. Lots of cool stuff happened in AEW this week. That's right, I'm saying it. Cool stuff happened in AEW this week. Daniel Bryan wins the Owen Hart Finals to become the #1 contender for Swerve Strickland at Wembley Stadium. Does that mean that Swerve is beating Daniel Bryan? Because it feels like Swerve is beating Daniel Bryan.
I don't know.
Or is this Daniel Bryan's real last hurrah? Like he gets
that title. This might
finally
be his swan song of a year. And to cap it all, he can't leave without being champion. I can see that narrative floating around. And he's still healthy enough and good enough to carry the title. Even if it's like
for
a rematch, a rematch at All Out, and he loses it back to Swerve. Tell me you don't see that. You couldn't see that happening.
I see it. Yeah.
I really liked this finals match with Hangman because you really didn't know who was going to win.
No, I thought Hangman was winning this, honestly. But I really did, especially with the history. I really thought that's where they were going with it, but
I think they did.
Daniel Bryan win it, or Bryan Danielson rather, when it was that. It was interesting. It was different.
There's a few areas I could critique throughout the list that we're going to go through, and I will. But this one I was really pleased with.
I was very pleased with this.
Hangman doing all his things to get back at Swerve, I feel like was the easy path, right? At the same time, you had all the narratives of Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan. You got me flipping the names.
Bryan Danielson.
Bryan Danielson. Oh, you have it on the list.
I've listed wrong.
Come on, Steven. It's hard enough for me to keep up with all these names. Bryan Danielson, never winning the title. It had its own storyline that kind of wrote itself. So that's what I really liked about this final, and I'm happy they went this way. So I honestly bet you he does win the title at.
I think he might, especially in front of Wembley, like in front of a huge crowd.
8 billion people saying yes at the same time.
I'm excited. You know what? I'm getting excited for it. Another thing that excited me was Pac won a 4-way match to get a shot at the International Championship, whether it's Will Ospreay or MJF. I'm very happy about that. I like the fact that they're finally giving Pac a little bit of a little nudge. I wouldn't say it's as much as a push, but a nudge. They're nudging them forward. I'm not gonna lie. The only person in this whole field, though, that I really thought had a chance other than him was Fletcher.
Yeah, he's starting to get a little push. He finally stopped being pinned every time, and then it got pinned.
Yeah, well, yeah, he took the submission in this one, but he's also the young guy in this one. So let's face it, he's in his 20s. He's got a lot of growing left to do, at least mentally and maturity wise. I'm not gonna lie, as much as a fan of Claudio as I am, I'm kind of just over him at this point. Like they've done enough. It's been enough times where they tease the idea of doing Claudio that, and this is not just an AEW thing. This is Claudio's career has been a tease of getting pushed to the main event and then realizing that he might not be a main event talent.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that front. I think that this might just be AEW also just wasting him because it's what they do with people they don't know what to do with, and he fits that mold very well. He's a harder person to get to the spot, but I'm
He's
excited
also
for
not
Pac.
the youngest dude on the roster too,
Sure.
so and he's had a few injuries here and there. He's also, for a little while, I used to refer to it as the Cesaro curse. Everyone that ever tag teamed with Cesaro seemed to get like horribly, like career-endingly injured. I'm looking at you at T.J. Hart or T.J. Wilson. Ichi, who it is what it is for that. Like I said, Pac seemed to be the clear-cut winner on this one. I'm really glad that they did have that. I am hoping that we get a Pac Osprey match. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind seeing it, depending on how they play this MJF thing. Seeing Pac versus Osprey, both of them the British boys in Wembley, could be kind of cool.
Could be real cool.
Could be real cool. Like just see both of them getting cheered out the wazoo for it. We've got on here Swerve declared himself to be part of Team AEW for Blood and Guts. This was after the Elite offered him a spot on their team. This is the second time they've gone over and like offered Swerve kind of a spot with them, right? Like this keeps happening.
Well, he fits, and like they should have done. This is my storyline from earlier, right? They should have forced him into the Elite because he's world champion. They can make his life a living hell if he doesn't join them. He could have easily fit this into this match, and then was the reason why they lost. Like he could have like double crossed them or not helped them in a good guy fashion, not like in a dastardly way of I'm not playing your games anymore. Enough is enough. I like that storyline, but I also like that Hangman, who's still trying to be a face, I think, from this joins the Elite and takes on their team because he wants to get his hands on Swerve.
And
My question for you, Steven,
or he thinks he got screwed out of the title shot.
Sure. I mean, because delusional. It's a fun it's a fun life to live. So my question for you is who are the other four people to team with Swerve?
I mean, since they returned, I would have to go FTR, I would think. And and Darby.
And Darby. So it's just the last match again.
It's just the last match.
Just throw Daniel Bryan in there.
Yeah, we're gonna switch out Daniel Bryan for Swerve Strickland, and maybe we'll get a I don't know. Maybe we'll get Tommy Billington in there.
Eddie Kingston miraculously comes back and takes the spot.
I mean, maybe. Oh no! It'll probably be no. It's gonna be Swerve, and it'll be FTR, and it'll be Darby, and it'll be the Mox.
Yeah, so
it'll
it's
be
the same
Mox.
match.
So basically the same match. The sad part is I just said it, and it made sense to you, right? Like that's
yep.
It's going to be the same stupid match. The only difference is it's not going to be on pay-per-view.
I don't mind FTR being in it again. I actually like them being there. It's a great way to return them. I would like to see Will Ospreay get in this match and get involved somehow.
So the only reason I don't want to see Will Ospreay in this is because I want him to get in so much deeper with MJF, and I don't want either one of them involved in that.
Okay.
I would actually like to see FTR not be involved in this, but I think FTR is going to be involved in this.
Well, it's either him, or it's either FTR or the Acclaimed, right? at this point in time. The only
You know
two
what?
ones that
I
make
didn't even think
sense.
about the Acclaimed. It's gonna be the Acclaimed then. I think it's gonna be the Acclaimed, and I think they're gonna pivot FTR away from this whole thing.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Orange Cassidy finds his way in this match because I feel like he doesn't really have much to do right now after what happened with him.
I mean,
Uh,
hit somebody with a wrench.
he sure did. He has no friends.
He has no friends.
The best friends no longer exist. So I could see him falling in there because they just don't know what to do with him at the time. So like, hey, why don't you keep your hands in your pocket and just join this match?
And at least if your hands are in your pockets, you can't hit anybody with a wrench.
Fact. For someone whose gimmick is I don't care, I've never heard of someone hitting someone with a wrench without really caring.
Very Fast and the Furious.
It's an extreme. It's an extreme reaction.
I'm actually surprised.
If you're just like, I don't care.
I'm kind of surprised that Trent didn't just like nip up.
Put his hands in his pocket.
Yeah, it's okay. Now I'm going with you.
Now I get it. You knocked it right.
So we've got MJF and Will Ospreay this week, apparently, not at Wembley. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that match needs to be at Wembley. I
agree.
I think that there's got to be some type of shenanigans that gets us a no contest for this match, and they go to Wembley because.
But isn't Pac going to Wembley?
They didn't say that he gets a shot at Wembley. They just said he gets a shot at whoever the international champion is. They never said it was for Wembley.
What's Okada's belt again?
Okada has the Continental Breakfast Hotel Championship. Number 2, which he never defends.
Has he defended? He's defended once, twice.
No, he had an eliminator. I don't think he's defended. Oh no, he defended it against Pac in the match that in the Dynasty pay-per-view, and we said we liked Pac a lot afterwards. Like that was Pac getting over on everybody, and Okada just looking like a dad bod Japanese dude who throws a nice drop kick. And a weak short arm clothesline.
I could see MJF and Ospreay DQing here and then going to Wembley for the real thing.
I feel like they're the two biggest stars. I'm sorry, Swerve. I apologize to Swerve Strickland in advance for saying this. I know he's the world champion. Your biggest stars right now are MJF and Will Ospreay, and the only two, and they're also the only two who can kind of hang with each other on the microphone and be believable about it. And I would rather see that. I want them at Wembley.
Yeah, because they'll tear the house down.
They will.
Do you know who also tore the house down? Jericho, by putting Samoa Joe through a wall.
With
a forklift.
And then and it was. I don't even understand what this whole thing is anymore, man.
Can you? I would like to know what the lesson is there, Chris.
You're sitting at the learning tree.
I'm just trying to get the lesson. I get it. There's a lesson in there, Steven.
Yeah.
There's a real life lesson, a skill lesson. Like, don't build walls without studs.
The lesson is that Samoa Joe is great for demolition, not the tag team. Like the actual act of demolition.
They had to rush. They had to rush the forklift to the hospital afterwards because Joe did so much damage to it.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. That poor forklift.
Jesus
Christ! That poor forklift. Man, you can tell we're a little delirious tonight. We're going down some paths.
But no, they're just building this. Obviously, they're building Hook, Jericho. This was a good way to kind of throw some more fire on throw some more.
So basically, Jericho's probably going to take out Shibata next, then, right?
Yeah, it's going to happen.
And Hook's got to go in there by himself, or does he?
Taz comes out.
Taz is going to come out, and he's going to Kasha Hasha Masha Masha May.
No, he's not.
He's not.
Taz can't do anything anymore. No disrespect.
Taz
He
was
said it
barely able
himself.
to get in the ring the last time they let him in the middle of it.
I'm surprised he can walk at this point in time. No disrespect to Taz. I think the world to him. He's in rough shape.
So I think that's what they were saying, though. That's why they only did that push spot with Jericho, is because Taz's knees needed surgery so badly that, like,
yeah.
Which sucks, because if they could take this to Wembley and Taz came out and he was healthy, it would still be cool. Like, even
it would be so cool.
Even very, very, very out of shape Taz, which is what we have, hitting a suplex on one of them would be awesome.
Yeah.
Just one suplex on Big Bill or something, just to get them out of there, would be cool. Moving on from Jericho literally breaking the walls
suplex
down
on Big Bill. Hold on, before you can't move off of that fast. Taz in his current state putting a suplex on Big Bill is impossible.
It's impossible, but I'm loving the mental image of this right now.
Yeah, like, you stopped me in my tracks. I was ready to move on. Stop. Turn it around. Let's go back.
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, get that forklift out, because he's gonna need it to suplex Big Bill.
It's the new Tazplex. It's the forklift Tazplex.
It's no longer the human suplex machine. It's just the suplex machine. We've taken the human out.
Oh, oh, this might go down as either a best or a worst episode. I'm not sure which yet.
I'm just here to have fun, Stephen. That's all I'm doing here. Do you know what was super fun? Was Mariah May beating Willow for the Owen Hart Cup women's side of things.
I thought that was really interesting.
Match was awesome.
The match was really good.
Really glad that Mariah May went over.
Yeah, the ending of the match was awesome. Like, the entirety of the match, really, really good match. And then we get the swerve, and not the wrestling. And we get Mariah turning on Timeless Toni Storm.
Toni believed in you.
In the most
she
vicious,
believed in you.
In the most
she
vicious
built
way.
You up. She was rooting for you.
She
disrespect. How dare you?
She beat the hell out of her too.
That gash on Tony's head was no joke.
That gash, and like her putting the high heel into it and stuff. That was
that was
so.
That's gruesome.
Showtime, you and I spoke about this a little bit before we jumped on here.
Yeah,
I thought that this time and this spot and them doing it here was the perfect time for them to do it. The issue I have is the fact that 2 weeks ago they were doing the match of Mariah not wanting Toni and Mina Shirakawa to be mad at each other. Now, was this just because she didn't want to turn on Mina, or like, I don't understand what's going on here, because they were triple kissing 3 weeks ago. This is the worst.
They're triple kissing.
Yeah, this is the worst throuple ever.
And like I think the funny part is, the worst part is I wasn't done with the two of them.
No.
I really like their dynamic. They had, and like now they're gonna replace her or whatever. I have my own theories on what's gonna happen next, and I mentioned. I actually think that Mariah May is probably gonna go on to win the title, and I think Luther is going to be the one that helps her win it. And then we get this amazing storyline from Toni Storm of the forgotten movie star. The "Don't look at me, I'm ugly now." There's plenty of examples of this, of the washed up, forgotten star of yesteryear, and I think she could do so much justice.
Meryl Streep from Death Becomes Her type thing.
Yes, exactly. But
there was I used to be beautiful.
But there is enough of those kind of. It's sorry, I'm blanking on the movie. Is it a Stephen Lynch movie or something like that? Where the old actress is upstairs and she shuns from everybody, and then the guy's floating in the pool face down.
I think I know which one you're talking about. I can't think of the movie myself either.
I'm usually pretty good at that game, but at the end, like, the guy's in the pool face down, or like that's the beginning of the movie, and then you find out how he gets there. That's kind of what I see happening here. David Lynch. I think that's who had it. I'll figure it out. But
we'll get back to you next week on that one.
Yeah, we'll figure it. I'll figure it out in a minute. But what I do like, you're right. This is the right time to do it. The lead up to it just doesn't make any damn sense.
It was the last 2 months didn't equal out to what this was. But this was the point, because even her running up there, like the way she ran up, she was just so excited, and it didn't seem like she sold it that she wasn't going to turn on her until she turned on her. And you know what, man? I got to give it to Mariah May. I've been kind of gushing over her stuff for a few weeks now, and man, she turned it on this week. This was good.
She sure did. And she went vicious. She painted her face. She did all the things you're supposed to do. She gloated over it. And so I'm really excited about it. But again, I'm sad because I don't want to see them break up. I like this couple. This one's fun. This, like, it's I'm not ready to give it up because I think it's AEW's best storyline. The two of them together are AEW's best storyline. Now I'm like, I don't got that anymore.
Now I could see, to go along with your storyline, idea though, I could see Tony almost going on hiatus. Like, oh my God, where's Toni Storm this whole time? If she loses the title, and then that's where we get the forgotten movie star gimmick. Because I could see Mariah May moving right on from this to Mina Shirakawa, and Mina coming back out and like, and playing off of that and being like, hey, like, you did all, like, you were trying to keep us all together, and then you turned.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. Which, by the way, Tony, if you are listening again and you like these ideas, we are still for hire.
I'd write for Tony.
Yeah, we will still. We don't have contracts with anybody right now. We can help. But moving on from Mariah May winning the Owen finals and turning on Toni Storm, we go on to stuff that happened on Collision. So we get Roderick Strong earning himself a shot at the Ring of Honor title against Dalton Castle, two former Ring of Honor champions.
By knocking him out with a knee.
He knocked him the F out. All around, either one of those guys, I kind of thought that this was going to be a Roddy win going into this. But I am excited because I love the idea of watching Roderick Strong versus Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor title. This makes me happy. This is going to be a great match, and it might give me a reason to actually start watching more Ring of Honor stuff. Which I've also heard they're going to start pivoting a little bit more with that, and it's not just going to be a subdivision of AEW. They're going to start kind of booking their own tours for Ring of Honor and giving them their own tapings and stuff, which I really hope, because whatever they're doing with it now, they're not really doing anything with it. Other than that, we saw FTR return to come save Dynamite Kid Jr., Tom Billington. This was cool. It followed a really good match with Dynamite and Dynamite the wrestler. I'm sorry, not Dynamite the show. With him and Takeshita, they put on
so confusing.
They put on a really good match, him and Takeshita, which that doesn't surprise me in the least. And then Don Callis went to offer him a spot in the family. He turned him down. They jumped him, and FTR came out to make the save, which I'm hoping that this is the path that FTR takes, is that they are feuding with the Callis family. They are feuding with those guys, and then immediately afterwards pivot back towards the tag team titles. Or pivot back to WWE. I'm just saying. I could use somewhere giving us a really, really, really good tag team division that's constantly challenging for tag team titles. That's all I want. I want to see a banger tag team division somewhere. And I'm not getting it at either place, and it's a little upsetting right now. Honestly, the best tag team division right now is TNA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You're not wrong.
you know what? They have been, no matter how kind of off the radar TNA has been, they've constantly had a really good tag team division. Even when they haven't had a good product.
Even when it's not even for the titles, they always have good tag matches.
It could be two guys thrown together and they're still throwing good tag team matches together.
Well, they were just doing, was it Macklin and Kazarian versus Alexander and, it was Alexander and Macklin versus Kazarian and somebody else?
I don't know. On Thursday, they did Macklin and Moose versus Alexander and Joe Hendry, and that match was a banger.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they'll put together, like, some really good matches, tag team matches, like, just randomly.
Where, I mean, we just keep getting dumb stuff over in the two major promotions for their tag team divisions. Which, speaking of dumb stuff, yeah, that's my transition for this one. The dumbest stripping of a title in the history of ever dumb. They stripped the Bang Bang Gang. Yeah, that's still their name, by the way, of the Trios title. Because they said Jay White was injured. He got injured 15 minutes ago. All right, not literally 15 minutes ago, but a day, like Wednesday. He was injured on Wednesday. This show took place on Saturday. They said that since he was out of action and they wouldn't let them do the Freebird rule with Juice Robinson, which I don't understand.
They've established in the past.
And also when, who was it? When MJF and Samoa Joe, or I'm sorry, when MJF and Adam Cole were the tag team champions, they let Samoa Joe fill in for Adam Cole.
It's a different title. Tag team titles aren't trios titles.
It's still just dumb. It's just
dumb. Just being a jerk.
I know, and no matter what, it's still just dumb. So then they come out and they say that they're not going to let them do it, and they had the patriarchy come out and say they should just give them the tag team titles. But then they make the match between the Bang Bang Gang and the patriarchy for the trios titles. I don't understand what the difference is whether or not they let them keep it or not, or didn't let them keep it. That it just doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know. They took 9 belts off of them. They had 9 belts. They literally took 9. Swoop. They took 9 belts away from those guys. Are they going to fight for 9 belts? I hope they only give them
3 back.
I really hope they only give them 3 back. I hope that they're like, it's just the AEW trios titles at that point. Like, they don't need the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championship. They don't need the customized trios titles that look like scissors. We don't need any of that. Just give them, like, have them fight for 3 titles, please. AEW has too many belts to begin with.
Particularly when 3 guys have 9 of them.
9, and it's the same title. 9 for a unified championship.
It's not very unified belts. Then. No one's pants are falling down in this situation.
No one. I don't understand it. None of them wear pants anyway. We literally report on a sport where you fight for a belt, but you don't wear pants.
Sometimes you wear pants.
Sometimes. John Cena wears pants. Well, he wears jorts.
He wears jorts. That's different.
And they never fall down. All right.
Stop hitting your head against the wall. Move to SmackDown.
Yeah, let's go to the next show. The other side of the street. So we got SmackDown. SmackDown started off with Tiffy time, which I'm always okay with Tiffy time. It's Tiffy time. She put kind of everyone on notice, not just Raw and SmackDown, but also NXT. Said to be watching out for her. And then Bayley came out and tried to kind of give her some sisterly advice or to scare her a little bit.
Fun fact, I believe Tiffany tried to cash in the Money in the Bank at that Mexico match where Stephanie Vikander debuted.
That I can see that. I think this is gonna keep being that Nia is gonna keep like no, don't.
It was Bianca Belair that chased her off during that match.
So in this one, we got a 3-way segment with Bayley, Nia Jax, and Tiffany, which led to a match with Nia Jax and Michin. Nia just kind of destroyed Michin. Bayley comes in to make the save. She also gets destroyed. And Nia leaves the ring, and as Tiffany looks like she's about to leave the ring, runs over to the ref like she's going to cash in.
I think you're going to get a lot of false cash-ins with this one.
I think you're going to get a lot until she does, and I'm sticking with my theory. I think Tiffany cashes in at SummerSlam on Nia. I think she's gonna, or during the Nia match at least, it's gonna happen one way or another. She's gonna come in, and the sad part is Bayley even foreshadowed this one and was like, Nia has a little PTSD about Money in the Bank cash-ins. Should be careful. I think that's gonna lead into this. It was kind of a cool segment. I didn't need Nia talking about BBL Bayley. That was something I didn't need to hear. But it is what it is. Moving on into SmackDown, LA Knight jumped the line that was waiting to talk to Nick Aldis. Walked in, grabbed a contract or grabbed a folder, made his way to the ring, and you find out later Nick Aldis wasn't even in the office. He just had his folder waiting for him. Meanwhile, Piper Niven, Chelsea, and Pretty Deadly were all waiting in line to talk to Aldis, not knowing that he wasn't even there. Not bad comedy stuff.
Chelsea walked out too, didn't she? In her bedazzled neck brace.
With her bedazzled neck brace, yes. And we find out LA Knight has a contract that just needs Logan Paul's signature for SummerSlam.
Wait, Logan Paul's supposed to defend his title for only the third time?
3 times. 3 times in 260 days or something like that.
It's malarkey.
Malarkey. I actually agree with it. It's shenanigans even. I don't see this being a world where LA Knight doesn't win at SummerSlam either.
I agree.
I think this needs to happen. I think we need to get a title on LA Knight. I think they need to see how popular he can get with the US title to see if they can maybe start moving him towards the world title, I think. Or decide whether or not they're not going to move him towards the world title so he knows where he's at in his world. I also
LA Knight versus John Cena.
I could see that. That'd be
the US title.
That wouldn't be a bad last match. Be a nice passing of the torch too, even though LA Knight might not. It isn't exactly a spring chicken anymore, as the kids say. The kids still say that? I don't think they say that anymore.
I don't know if they ever did.
But Logan Paul needs that title off of him too.
He does.
That title needs to be off of him. He hasn't done. They've done nothing with it. They probably could have gotten it off of him at Mania even, and it wouldn't have been an issue. But I think now it's the time. Like he's barely been there. We've seen him. We saw him against Cody. We saw him in the 3-way to go into Money in the Bank, and that's about it. The amount that we've seen him. Huh?
Elimination Chamber.
I meant since Mania. So since Mania, we've seen him against Cody not Backlash, at the Saudi show, right? At Crown Jewel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Crown Jewel.
And then we saw him at SmackDown for the 3-way.
No, it wasn't Crown Jewel. It was King Queen of the Ring.
King and Queen of the Ring. That's right. So we saw him at that, and then we saw him at for the 3-way to get into Money in the Bank. And that's kind of all we've really seen him, other than like vignettes and stuff like that.
Yeah, little promos he cuts when he's in town.
Like, I don't have a problem with him being part-time. I have him being part-time and being the U.S. champion, I think, at this point.
So I'm with you, LA Knight. Yeah, is gonna come in and win this from him, and then we'll start seeing this title on TV again, which would be nice.
And let's face it, LA Knight is so over still.
Like, he really is.
The fans are just keeping him over. They're like, no, we're not letting this one go. We're not just gonna fall by the wayside. And I dig that. Like, I like that he's that over. We get a nice little Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton segment in the back where they talk about that Randy will always have his back, which is obviously untrue because he's
Randy
the Viper.
Is such a face these days. He is the white meat baby face that he's always yearned to be. He would never double cross Cody.
He's never double crossed anybody.
No, he's double crossed a lot of people.
Everybody. He's actually double crossed everybody, including Cody Rhodes. He's actually double crossed Cody Rhodes.
Different. This is different. He's a different Randy now. He's grown. Different. He's matured.
He's still going to kick him in the head.
Double cross.
He's going to kick him in the head. Cody's going to ask him to kick him in the head.
Yeah, he's going to RKO the shit out of him.
Oh, he's punted him. We're going back to kick in the head Orton. And, well, but before we get that, we get the Bloodline absolutely destroying both of them. Both of them. Obviously, Kevin Owens is probably off in Canada with his mother who's in the hospital. I hope she has a speedy recovery again still. But this leaves just Cody and Randy to face the Bloodline, who absolutely demolished them. Jacob Fatu destroyed everyone in the world at SmackDown. Everyone. He destroyed.
Cody Rhodes did his best Harvey Dent, where Batman saves him on accident, and he's no, you're supposed to save Randy. No, take me instead, Randy. No. It was pretty funny. It was so overdramatic.
It was so overdramatic. But it's so Cody Rhodes. This is what Cody does.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it was so overdramatic.
It was so overdramatic. Oh man. But it was a good segment. I'm liking what they're doing with the Bloodline now. Bloodline is actually cool again.
Yeah, I had to ask. I'm still not sure if I'm sold in. Solo he's almost there.
So I heard this on a different podcast, and I will not say that this is my own idea, but this is an awesome idea for Roman's comeback.
Yep. I was saying the same thing.
Here's the thing is when Roman comes back and he has at SummerSlam, most likely at SummerSlam, when Roman comes back and he cuts his first promo on Solo, how personal is it going to sound if Roman says this? While I was gone, you hurt my wise man. You took or tried to take everything that was mine. And you did it all while I was burying my father.
Yeah, that I like all that. I think his return is actually costing Solo the title.
I think his return is going to cost Solo the title, and then I think he's going to say all that
after.
Yeah, I think this is going to be again, however many people they can fit in Cleveland Browns Stadium. I think it's going to be 50 or 60,000 people. And 50 or 60,000 people are going to cheer when you hear, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman." And everyone is going to lose their damn minds because for the first time ever, Paul Heyman's going to be a babyface, a true babyface.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. And so
don't cheer Roman now. You don't deserve Roman. Now you get me.
Which was also a cool line.
That was a cool line. I dig that from Solo.
I like a lot of the stuff they're doing. Obviously, we've talked. I'm a huge Jacob Fatu fan. I don't see Jacob Fatu sitting in the background for very long because he is if they let him get his hands on a live mic, he cuts a hell of a promo too.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see him honestly leaving Solo to leaving him in the bed that he made, so to speak.
I'm not quite sure how this all works out, but
I'm excited to see how it works out.
But they got to get him out of there. But you know what I'm also excited about? Mommy's home.
Mommy's home. Oh, and is it me, or did she get even better looking? Like she,
I
or did we
respect
just
her
miss
more
her?
as a worker. I don't objectify her like that, Steven. Come on.
So is she better looking
Get
or
it
not?
together. That's not what I talk about here.
I think we just missed her too.
I definitely missed her.
I missed her. And the promo she cut, whoo, she's been sitting on that for 3 months.
Well, I'd be annoyed if I was stripped of my title and I didn't need to, because I could have just held it for that time.
She's not mad about Dom. She's not mad about the injury. She's mad that she's walking around with that belt that she never lost.
That's a fact.
She looks in shape. She looks great.
And Liv is different, but at the same time, she just does the same stuff.
I mean, is new, different Liv still even tough enough to take on good old Mommy?
Nope. But if it's not a custody of Dominic and world title match, I don't want to see it.
Are we both assuming that Dom cost Rhea?
I can't tell. So I'm really, really enjoying this storyline. The Judgment Day storyline and Liv has been fantastic. And Rhea came back at the perfect time. I was really starting to get worried that she wasn't going to return. It was going to go, yeah, exactly. So what I really liked this week was Dom's befuddlement of what he was supposed to do in order to make things right. Like, it really does seem to me that he wants to make things right with Rhea. And I want to say that maybe he does cost the title after Rhea fully rejects him. You know what I mean? Like, he needs that turn here, because he is, like, at the end of the show, when Rhea says, I don't belong to anybody, you belong to me. I'm like, yeah, that's how it's always been.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when that changed in the narrative, but Dom was always hers. It was never the other way around. That's why we call her Mommy.
Yeah, we know who the Dom is. His name is Dominic, but we know who the Dom is.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that. But so with that, the rejection has to come from her. And that's when he goes back to Liv, and then probably gets rejected again, and then still gets booed and gets zero sympathy for all of this stuff, because he has such nuclear heat that I have no idea what they'll do.
Amazing feathery mullet hair.
It's fantastic. Even though they're gonna form the Los Guerreros or the Los Mysterios again, and have Ray take him back, because he's the only one that'll want him. Except for Priest, who I think legitimately likes Dominic Mysterio.
Well, Priest will be a babyface by then.
But even then, he's gonna be like, Dom will be a heel, Priest will be a face, and he'll be like, Dom, I tried to help you, man. Like, I like you, just no one else in the universe does. He's the one guy that likes him.
Ray only takes him back if he cuts his hair and shaves his mustache.
Don't do it. I really hope. I'm really banking on WrestleMania hair versus mask. Like, I really want to see that match, and he can't cut off the mullet until then.
And then we'll get Ray versus Dominic Part 3.
But if Rhea does reject Dom, then he costs her the match. It's clear that way. And I definitely don't want to see him accidentally cost Rhea the match. The whole worthless Dom, that he's just not a good fighter, I'm over that. Like, I'm ready with the heat that he has for him to start winning. Like, I would have liked to see him go over on Jey Uso this week.
Well, and not just that. Could you imagine if he purposely makes Rhea lose the title?
Yeah, well, that's I think the only way that happens.
We talk about that nuclear heat all the time for him. And I say it all the time that it's just cool to boo Dominic Mysterio. Like, that's you're conditioned to do it now. If he cost Rhea the title, actually cost Rhea the title, it's not going to be fake. Like, it's not just going to be cool to boo Dominic Mysterio. Everyone's going to actually hate him.
That also opens up the exit strategy for Priest, right? If he does that, he becomes a de facto leader of the Judgment Day, and they kick Priest out because Priest would be furious with them for screwing Rhea over.
Yep.
And siding with Liv. So like Liv joins the Judgment Day, Dom, and company. So it's still a 5-person faction. But we've replaced, I guess, Priest with Carlito at this point in time, and
I think this is
Liv,
a downgrade.
And yeah, this definitely downgrade.
This is,
but like when you have Dominic at the helm and he can't win anything, and you have JD that can win a headbutting contest, I guess. He just hasn't won anything else. I don't know what else he could do. And then you have Finn, who's just being wasted in the mix.
He's just there. I still hate Finn in this group. I just do.
But what I would like to see come out of this is Finn versus Priest. Like, I think that's a feud I want to see. And now I don't hate it as much, and he's the clear one to go up against him.
And I'm just saying it. I know we're all saying that, like, we're waiting for Gunther to win the world title, but I kind of want Finn and Priest for the world title. Like, I want that match.
I said it last week. After the way they've completely ruined Priest's world title reign, never beating anybody of substance until this week. They finally do it with Braun. I want to see him beat Gunther, because then he legitimizes his belt a bit. Like, if he has a clean win over Gunther, then I'm good. I'm good. And then he can lose to Gunther at Bash Berlin or whatever they want to go.
So outside of Judgment Day stuff, or outside of Rhea and Liv at least, we got a new Wyatt video, and furthering that storyline. I thought Rowan did a really good delivery of this. Yeah. I will. I heard this on Busted Open. I agree with this. I don't know if I like that they're only targeting Chad.
Why? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Like, I want them to.
There's 5 of them.
Like, they should be targeting everybody. Like, just even if all you're targeting are people who, like, abandon their families, so to speak. Target everybody. Is Jimmy Uso hurt? Like, is that what's going on? I know he got destroyed by the rest of the bloodline, but we haven't seen him in like 3 months now. Yeah, he's
been out longer than Rhea left. Yeah. Why isn't Dominic being targeted?
Why isn't Dominic being targeted? Why isn't why aren't the Usos being targeted? Why isn't Solo being targeted? Why isn't everyone who abandoned their family being targeted right now?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't Jey Uso being targeted? Or I had this epiphany while I was saying it. Maybe this whole time they are actually targeting Jey Uso and they're not really targeting Chad Gable. They haven't actually attacked Chad since that opening salvo.
Sure.
They just keep coming out and like messing with him. So and he keeps getting brought up during Jey Uso. Maybe they are going to go full heel and go after medium event Uso.
Yeah, mid-card Uso. But I did this Eric Rowan vignette was great.
It was really good.
I hope we get a vignette for each member, but I need matches. I've been saying it for like 3 weeks now. I need matches. I need them to beat some people up.
I don't even know if I need matches. I need something out of them though. Mm-hmm. I need action. I need them to come out and start decimating more people. Something. I don't want just 5 weeks worth of vignettes, Like, I need more. I need them to come out and either come out and destroy Chad and the Creed brothers, or come out and destroy somebody new, like
Anybody.
Or everybody. Everybody. Just destroy everybody. You guys all forgot about us, so now we're going to kill everyone. I don't know.
Cool. I'm in.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Outside of the Wyatts, we got Drew and Pierce had a segment where Adam Pierce was trying to get Drew to do business with him, and so he could reinstate him. And
why in the world would Drew need to do business with anybody? He's done nothing wrong. I side with Drew. I always have. The refs apologize to the refs. What?
I didn't understand it myself, and I liked when Drew. I knew that was going to be what took him. Drew was too vanilla at the beginning of it, and then as soon as he said, "I need you to apologize to these two referees," and Drew did a full 180, and I was like, yes, we finally get what I've been waiting for. We get everything, and then he turns around and he shoves both the refs.
And they haven't done anything to CM Punk. Sure, he got a little fine. He's been a monster for months.
I halfway wish Adam Pierce wasn't out of ring shape right now, because I wouldn't mind this turning into Drew versus Adam Pierce the way this is going. He's still a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Sure.
If this was all happening on SmackDown with Aldis, it would be perfect, because we could get Aldis versus Drew McIntyre in a banger of a match, and I'd be happy about it. But I mean, as it is, what they're doing with him, it's still amazing. Everything they're doing is awesome. The stuff with CM Punk, the stuff with Seth Rollins, it's the best problem to have. We don't know who we're putting them in the ring with yet, because we're not totally sure if everyone's going to be cleared. But it's 3 money-grabbing superstars. No matter which way this goes, I'm kind of happy with it.
Yeah, I just don't want to see a 3-way here.
I don't want to see a 3-way.
I want to see Drew versus CM Punk.
I want to see Drew versus CM Punk.
I'm building that.
I want to see CM Punk versus Rollins. And I wouldn't mind seeing Drew versus Rollins again. I want each one of them to clear up their own issues with each other on their own. Uso. We get a segment with Jey Uso.
She's not single. She's married to Buddy Matthews.
Yes, that is true. She's not single at all.
Not single.
But this was still a great segment. And this show, this Raw, I think this is the best. This Raw, I think, is the best Priest, the best version of Priest we've seen in weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly since the beginning of this title run. In the very beginning, I thought he was doing really great work. And then it seemed like he kind of tapered off when they kept booking him in weird ways where they didn't know if he was going to babyface or heel. The stuff he did with Dom and Jay in the back and how he interacted with Rhea was great. Everything he did in the back was awesome. And then he came out and he had this face-to-face with Gunther, and I bought it. I bought all of it. When he said he was a entitled prick or whatever you called him. Yeah, I buy all of that. And a lot of it sounded like Priest. He wasn't fighting to get the words out. He seemed comfortable with what he was saying. He was ready to go in and be a fighter. I'm cool with all of this. And they've made it personal by Gunther attacking his family, saying stuff about his family.
Saying that being from the street is a choice. That was a little off-brand.
Oof. And it's because of your parents for not providing you a better life. Oof.
I get the heel tactics. It's not the 80s anymore.
This is pretty heel though.
Oh,
I'm okay with people being uncomfortable at this point though. Like,
sure. Well, that's the whole Cody thing, right? Cody says he doesn't want to go heel because he has to be like vicious. He has to be unforgiving, and like he doesn't want to go that far.
and Gunther has no problem with it apparently.
I like the way he like kind of no sold Gunther's chops to a certain degree, like almost that he like Gunther was surprised. He underestimated Priest. I think it's a nice build to SummerSlam. I think that's how you have him lose is that he underestimates Priest, like he underestimated Sammy, and like that's kind of his new thing that he has to get over, and that's how he gets over eventually.
And I think they're both big dudes. We're gonna get they're both big athletic dudes. I think this match has a nice pacing to it. I know you're big on match pacing. I think we're gonna get a pace out of this. I think we're gonna get a good match out of this. I think if Priest loses, it's gonna be upsetting because this is probably gonna be the best thing that he's done since winning the title.
The cursed Money in the Bank.
The cursed Money
continues.
In the Bank. But I think I have written down here this could be Priest fully going face, which seems like it'd be him and Rhea kind of breaking off at that point.
Yeah.
They did the Gable and the Creed brothers calling out, or Gable calling out Bo Dallas, which I love.
The ring. He went to the ring.
He did go to the ring, and I love Gable's whole I figured out the mystery. Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas.
I saw those two guys in a room together interviewing each other. There's no way Bo Dallas could be Uncle Howdy.
I'm surprised that Gable came to the conclusion. Like this is crazier than
looking at each other.
This is crazier than Clark Kent and Superman. They don't even look like each other. Like that's what I'm saying.
One has glasses.
A little spit curl.
Come on. Ridiculous. Uncle Howdy wears a mask. How could they be the same person?
It's got dreadlocks, even though it's part of, and a hat. The absolute beatdown of Bo Dallas while he was laughing the whole time just goes back to the broken mind.
Cold-blooded.
He sold it, and not just sold the beating, but sold the craziness pretty perfectly. The only thing that I was halfway hoping for was that they were gonna when they had the fog machine come out and they cleared the ring for him, that he was gonna stand up as Uncle Howdy.
Oh, nice little bait and switch.
Yeah, they while they were checking on him, like they handed him the mask and stuff like that, and he stood up and was Uncle Howdy. I thought that would have been cool. But all around, again, I like this segment too. I think that they could be having too slow of a burn, but I think we've got a few weeks until the burn is too slow. Just get him
in the ring. Get somebody in the ring.
Give him something. Outside and the main event of the evening, Sami Zayn versus Ilya Dragunov for the Intercontinental Championship. In no surprise here, was a banger. An absolute banger. Until Braun Breaker came out after who's
always coming out. Everyone knew he was coming.
And beat the holy hell out of everybody. I think we get Sami Dragunov Braun for the IC title at SummerSlam. I'm in it for that match. I could see Braun winning at SummerSlam, but I'm not sure. So
I think it's going to be a squash match. I think he's going to come in and take Sami down quickly. Because I think I said this last week. His whole thing has been learning what he's done wrong and getting better. And I think he learned last week that the longer you let Sami hang around, the better odds Sammy has. So
Exactly.
give him 37 seconds.
Give him 37 seconds. Just long enough to hit a spear.
Mm-hmm. No haluva kick.
No haluva kick. But that was Raw this week. That's wrestling this week. We'll see what happens on Slammiversary. We'll see what happens on even NXT, and what happens with MJF Wednesday night with MJF and Will Ospreay, to see if maybe that leads into Wembley and how that'll work out. But with that, you got anything left, Showtime?
Nope. I think this is just another good week in wrestling. I think this stuff is really exciting. I really like Raw. It's my same complaints. There's just not enough wrestling for me. I like a little bit more of that. But all in all, I know Steven said it earlier. If you guys like the show, like and subscribe below somewhere. There's buttons.
Somewhere there
like
in the description stuff. Leave comments if you have any questions. Email us, message us on social media. Legion, we love you guys. Again,
sure
like, subscribe, follow us, follow Kakoa, follow House of Champions. It helps everybody at this point. We're all league now. We're all part of the Legion. Legion of Lariat. Until next week, we'll see you then.
Love you and appreciate you all.
Bye, guys.